It started with something small. Not a big fight, not a clear moment. Just a feeling. The kind you can't explain properly. The kind that doesn't have proof, but doesn't go away either. I remember the first time I noticed it. We were sitting across from each other at dinner. Nothing special, just a normal evening after work. The kind we had shared 100 times before. He was talking about something. I don't even remember what. But I remember this. He kept checking his phone. Not constantly, just enough for it to feel out of place. At first, I ignored it. People check their phones, that's normal. But then it kept happening. A quick glance, a slight pause in conversation, a small shift in attention. And then, back to me, like nothing happened. "Are you listening?" I asked lightly. He looked up immediately. "Yeah, of course." And then he repeated the last thing I said, perfectly, like he had been paying attention the whole time. But something about it felt rehearsed, like he wasn't present, just performing presence. I brushed it off, told myself it didn't mean anything. But that's how it always starts. Not with something obvious, with something you can easily excuse. Days passed, then weeks, and that small feeling didn't disappear. It grew. Not loudly, not dramatically, just quietly, like something settling into place in the back of my mind. I started noticing patterns. The way he held his phone closer to himself, the way he angled the screen slightly away from me, the way he smiled at something and didn't share it. That part bothered me the most, because he used to share everything, even the smallest things, memes, messages, random thoughts. Now, there was a space between his reactions and my awareness of them, and that space felt intentional. One night I finally said it. "I feel like something's off." The words came out softer than I expected. Not accusing, just honest. He looked at me for a moment, then sighed. "You're overthinking." There it was. Simple, direct, dismissive. I nodded slowly. Maybe I was. Maybe I had created something in my head that wasn't real. Maybe I was reading too much into small things. But the feeling didn't go away. Even after he said that. Even after I tried to believe him. Because instincts don't disappear just because someone tells you they're wrong. They just wait. That night, we went to bed earlier than usual. The room was quiet, dark, comfortable. He fell asleep quickly, like always. I didn't. I stared at the ceiling for a while, letting my thoughts move in circles, trying to calm them, trying to convince myself that everything was fine, that I was overthinking, that I needed to let it go. Eventually, I turned to my side and closed my eyes, and for a moment, I almost believed it. Then, sometime later, I woke up. I didn't know why. There was no sound, no movement, just that sudden awareness that pulls you out of sleep. The room was still dark, silent, but something felt different. I blinked a few times, adjusting to the darkness. Then I saw it. A faint glow, soft, pale, coming from his side, his phone. The screen lit up briefly, then dimmed, then lit up again. A notification. I stayed still, didn't move, didn't reach for anything. I just watched. His breathing didn't change. He was still asleep. At least, it seemed like it. The phone lit up again, this time a little longer. And without thinking, I turned slightly, just enough to see it more clearly. Not fully, not enough to read everything, but enough. Enough to catch a glimpse. A name, not saved, just a number, and one line. "I miss talking to you at this hour." My chest tightened, not sharply, but enough. Enough to wake something inside me completely. I blinked, looked again. The screen dimmed, then went dark. And just like that, the room was silent again. But nothing felt the same, because in that one moment, everything I had been trying to ignore had found its proof. Not full proof, not a complete story, but enough. Enough to stop calling it overthinking. enough to realize I wasn't imagining it. I slowly turned back onto my back, staring at the ceiling again. But this time, my mind wasn't racing. It was quiet. Too quiet. Like everything had suddenly become clear, all at once. I didn't wake him up. I didn't say anything. I didn't reach for his phone. Because deep down, I didn't need to. I had already seen enough. And sometimes, a single moment is all it takes. Not to break you, but to wake you up. I didn't sleep after that. Not really. My eyes were closed for a while, but my mind was wide awake. That one line kept repeating itself. I miss talking to you at this hour. It wasn't just the words, it was the timing, the quiet of the night, the familiarity in that sentence. Like it wasn't the first time, like it was part of a pattern, not an exception. I turned slightly, looking at him again. He was still asleep, peaceful, unbothered, and for a moment I wondered how that was possible. How someone can sleep so calmly while something like this exists just inches away. But then I realized something. Peace doesn't always mean innocence. Sometimes it just means certainty. Certainty that nothing has been discovered yet. I looked away again, back at the ceiling, back at the silence, and slowly, everything started making sense. All those moments, all those small things I ignored. They weren't random, they were connected. The distance, the phone, the late-night presence that I could feel but never prove. It was all there. I just didn't want to see it, because seeing it meant accepting it, and accepting it meant something would have to change. My phone lay on the nightstand beside me. For a second, I thought about picking it up, about checking the time, about distracting myself, but I didn't. I just stayed there, letting the truth settle, not forcing it, not fighting it, just letting it exist. At some point, the night passed, slowly, quietly, and eventually, the first light of morning started to fill the room, soft, cold, real. I got out of bed before he woke up, moved quietly, not because I was hiding anything, but because I didn't feel like talking yet. I went to the kitchen, made coffee, sat down, and just stared at the cup in my hands. The warmth felt grounding, like something solid in the middle of everything that suddenly wasn't. A few minutes later, I heard movement behind me, his footsteps, familiar, normal, like every other morning. "Morning," he said. I didn't turn immediately. "Morning," I replied softly. He walked in, stretching slightly, grabbing his phone from the counter. I noticed it instantly. The way his attention went there first, before me, before anything else. That hadn't always been the case, but now, it was. "Did you sleep okay?" he asked casually. I looked at him then, really looked. And for a moment, I almost said yes, out of habit, out of comfort, out of the version of us that used to exist. But I didn't. "I woke up," I said simply. He nodded. "Same," he replied. But something about his tone felt automatic. Like the conversation didn't really matter, like it was just something to fill the silence. He unlocked his phone, scrolled, paused, and there it was again, that slight shift in his expression, subtle, but real. And this time, I didn't ignore it. "Who is it?" I asked calmly. He looked up quickly. "Just work," he said. Too quickly, too easily. I held his gaze for a second longer than usual. Not aggressively, not accusing, just steady. Then I nodded. "Okay." And that was it. No argument, no follow-up, no reaction. And somehow, that affected him more than anything else could have. Because he was ready for a reaction, for questions, for tension, but not for calm. Calm changes the dynamic. It removes the game. And without the game, there's nowhere to hide. The rest of the morning passed quietly. We moved around each other. Not cold, not distant, just aware of something unspoken, something that had shifted. By the time he left for work, nothing had been said. Not about the night, not about the message, not about anything real. And that silence, it followed me. But it didn't feel heavy anymore. It felt clear, like a decision waiting to be made. I spent the day alone, Not doing much, just thinking, but not in the usual way, not overthinking, not doubting, just observing, replaying moments, connecting dots, seeing things without trying to change their meaning. And the more I did that, the clearer it became. This wasn't about one message. It wasn't about one night. It was about a shift. A slow, quiet shift that I had felt for a long time. And now, I couldn't ignore it anymore. That evening, when he came home, everything looked the same. Same house, same routine, same space. But it didn't feel the same, because I wasn't the same. "Hey," he said, walking in. "Hey," I replied. He hesitated for a moment, like he was trying to read something in my tone, something in my expression. But I didn't give him anything, not intentionally, just naturally, because I wasn't performing anymore. We sat down later that night. The TV was on again, same as before, but this time, I wasn't distracted. I wasn't avoiding anything. I was just ready. His phone buzzed. He picked it up, checked it, put it down, too quickly, like the action itself was controlled, measured. And that told me everything. I reached for my own phone, opened it, and without overthinking, I typed a message. Simple, clear, the same number I had seen the night before. I didn't hesitate. I pressed send.